There's a war that happened in history that no one can remember. In fact, it's been wiped from our memories. No one can remember it but me. Welcome to Shut Eye Theater, and I had a crazy dream where I was a young boy, about 14 years old, in 1890, and a war happened. Now, we weren't involved in the war. In fact, no one on Earth was involved in this war. We just were witnessing it. You see, it all happened when I was coming home from school one day, and out of nowhere in the sky, a huge tear happened in our sky out of nowhere. The ship came through. It was on fire. It looked like it was about to crash, and before it hits the ground, it fell through another rift in the sky. We had no idea what was going on, but we were all spooked. And this Christmas season was going to be a different one. You see, we all of a sudden went into lockdown. Now, it's only 1890. It was just a bunch of farmers in this old Rocky Mountain town. So we just got everyone into 2 different locations. Most of the kids and their families and moms were staying in the church. As far as all the men, they're staying at one of the local feeds, kind of helping protect the food line, as well as having a place of meeting to be able to try to decide how to respond to whatever was happening. Now, I had a big duty. With my rifle, I had to protect the south side of the church. I was in rotations. I had the night shift this night. I wanted to make sure that those families stayed safe. Now, it wasn't my first night. In fact, it wasn't my 5th either. It's been doing this for a while, and most nights tend to be quiet. There's usually less rifts. So I was getting kind of bored. That's when I noticed a little girl crying, weeping, worried that Santa wouldn't find her this year. Well, I was supposed to just take her back inside. But, you see, she was the younger daughter of another girl I had a crush on at the time, and deciding to try and be a hero, I decided to saddle up some horses and connect them to the hay sleigh to take her for a little joyride. Just around the block, you see. I wasn't going to go too far. Giving her a little bit of Christmas spirit. You know, hay rides, we always did them as long with caroling. Well, I could give her the hay ride, but not the caroling part. So as we were going about, she started to cheer up. So much so, she started to relax and laugh. In fact, she started laughing hysterically when we hit a little bump and she fell out of the sleigh. She did land into a soft snowbank, so she was perfectly fine and started making a snow angel instantly. Under the moonlight, I brought the horse down to a slow canter and stopped. Jumped out to go grab her because I did need to get her back to the church by this point. As I was going up to her and she was giggling her little head off, she started screaming with a shock face on her face and was pointing at something behind me. Before I could even turn around, I was hit by something right in the back. I felt like I was being electrocuted or even set on fire. And right in front of me, I saw the silhouette and image of my heart. And all my veins. I was seeing my cardiovascular system as if it's outside of my body, running in midair in front of me, just like I was. And in a split second, it was back in me. My clothes were shredded. I had no idea what just happened to me. But not even thinking twice, I grabbed the girl, threw her in the hay bale, and I didn't take those horses out of canter anymore. I put them in an all-out sprint back to the church. As I was pulling up, more rifts were happening, more events were going on. No one knew what was going on. That girl's mom was a little worried. As I was pulling up to the church, I didn't even slow the horses down. I grabbed her, jumped out, and started running for the door where her mom was waiting to grab her and pull her inside and shut that door. But before I could even get her there, I fainted. Now, moments later, at least to my perspective, I woke back up, and I was worried. See, I was only 14. I didn't want to be deemed slacking at my duties. And there's a bunch of adults around. Freaking out, I reached for my rifle, which I couldn't find. I found myself in a soft bed. And freaking out even more. I was like, shoot, I shouldn't be here. I need to be at my post. Why am I sleeping on the job? So I tried to get out of bed and stood up. As soon as I stood up, I started to waver and fell over. Fainted again. The next time I woke up, the only two people by my side was that little girl and her older sister, much to my pleasant surprise. But they weren't the only people in the room. You see, everyone was gathered at this moment, listening to a strange man dressed up in a uniform I didn't recognize. This man was letting us know what was going on. You see, he wasn't from our time. He wasn't even, born yet in our recollection. You see, he's from the future. He's a doctor, part of a deployment team to help minimize damage to our timeline, trying to help prevent any massive butterfly effects, you see. Now, he reassured us that we shouldn't be pulled directly into this battle or war. In fact, these rifts in time shouldn't even be happening in our timeline. He's not sure why they are. He suspects it's because of certain new weapons that were being developed and tested. His side also to blame for that. Now, he's part of this team of doctors, nurses, and a couple soldiers just to kind of help protect us. He noticed I was awake. And after he was done giving a spill about how we don't need to worry and soothing us to the best of his ability, he came over to me, apologizing first and foremost, for it was his side that hit me with one of their new untested weapons. They were doing a test fire. This weapon was supposed to shoot through time and hit targets in other times. Well, they thought they picked an insignificant time. I just happened to be in the wrong place, wrong time when it went through a rift and hit me. The little girl saw the soldier team behind the rift in armors unfamiliar to her, and it freaked her out. Now, the doctor was confused, for I shouldn't have survived. You see, this weapon was designed to kill, but I didn't die. In fact, somehow when it went through the rift, the purpose of the ammunition changed when it hit me. And instead of killing me on the spot, it instead ripped my vascular system out of me and put it back in without a trace. But it reversed how the system worked. My heart now beat in a reverse pattern, sending my blood the other direction. The doctor doesn't know if I'll live from this event. And he doesn't know how to fix it. Now, he said he did what he could to stabilize me, but he said the rest should be on my body's own terms of healing, since a lot of the blood vessels were damaged. Now, as you can tell, I survived. And eventually the rifts stopped opening up. Eventually one team did come back, one final team, and they went through and systematically helped us forget this whole event ever happening. For you see, they needed to prevent us from trying to prevent it happening. One of the massive butterfly effects they didn't want to happen. So, they erased our minds. But yet, I remember, because I was changed. Their technology didn't work on me for some reason because of the change that happened to me. And I still will remember because I'm evidence that it happened. They eventually made a medical term for me, thinking I was just born with this or was just never detected in the past, when in reality I wasn't born with my heart beating in the opposite pattern. But still the same, I lived a normal life, sharing my story only with family members, thinking it was a crazy dream and all. But it was much, much more. Crazy dream, yes, and obviously just a dream. There is no special time war, no dimensional rifts, as you could say. I just dreamt this all up. And it's very intriguing. Now, this dream, I had it about 2 years ago. And reading through some, well, dream diaries I keep, came across it and I actually remembered it as if I had it yesterday. Shows how much of an impact it left on my mind. Obviously, I didn't recall it until I read the journal, but most dreams in my journal, I don't remember them, even when I read the notes. But this one, I did. Now, for anyone wondering, I did end up marrying the cute girl that I had a crush on, that I took the little girl out for a little stroll. Yeah, I ended up marrying her in the dream, but that has no bearing in real life. And yeah, either way, have you ever had a crazy dream about an event that never happened? Something that in your dream only you remember, or you might seem crazy from? Leave your comments below. Let me know. And until next time, sweet dreams.